gentlemen, from the T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada, will be giving instructions after the introductions, referee Thomas Taylor.
He is the reigning NABF and WBO International Junior Welterweight Champion from Brooklyn, New York, the Takeover, Teofimo Lopez!
Here is the colorful, newly crowned WBA Super Lightweight Champion of the World, introducing Rolando.
In the words of Mills Lane, in honor of Mills Lane, let's get it on.
That was beautiful.
Yes, sir.
August 22nd, 2026. Las Vegas is buzzing, and this time the spotlight belongs to two fighters who know the city better than most. Inside T-Mobile Arena, Rolando Romero and Teofimo the Takeover Lopez are preparing for a 12-round battle with the WBA World Welterweight title on the line. This isn't just another championship fight. Both men are Las Vegas natives. Both have built reputations on big personalities and even bigger ambitions. And now they are standing across from each other with nowhere to hide. The weigh-in had already set the stage. Romero came in at 146.6 pounds, comfortably under the 147-pound welterweight limit, while Lopez hit the limit exactly at 147. Physically, there was little to separate them, with both fighters carrying equal height and reach. That meant neither man could rely on an obvious size advantage. The atmosphere inside T-Mobile Arena continues building as Fight Night moves toward its main event. The introductions finish. The crowd rises. The referee brings both fighters together for the final instructions. Gloves are touched. The fighters return to their corners. And suddenly all the talking is over. The bell rings. From the opening seconds, the atmosphere changes. The noise from the crowd remains, but inside the ring, both fighters have only one thing to concentrate on: the man standing directly in front of them. Romero looks to establish his presence early, carefully testing how Lopez reacts when the distance begins to disappear. There is no reason for the champion to rush recklessly. The first round is about information as much as offense. Romero needs to understand Lopez's movement, his timing, and how quickly he responds when pressure comes toward him. Lopez, meanwhile, appears focused on maintaining control of the distance. Movement becomes important because standing directly in front of Romero for too long could give the champion exactly the opportunity he is looking for. Lopez has the technical experience to understand that a fight doesn't have to be won in the opening minutes. Sometimes the smartest approach is to make the opponent work for every opportunity. That creates an interesting early dynamic. Romero wants to close the space, while Lopez wants to manage it. Neither fighter wants to make the kind of mistake that can change a championship fight before it is even properly developed. The opening round therefore becomes a tactical introduction, with both men gathering information and trying to establish which style will control the night. But even in a cautious opening, the message is becoming clear. Neither fighter plans to give the other an easy fight. By the second round, the feeling begins to change. The fighters have now had a few minutes to study each other, and the uncertainty of the opening exchanges starts giving way to a clearer tactical battle. Lopez begins looking for opportunities to dictate the pace. His goal is not simply to throw punches. It is to make Romero react. If he can control when the exchanges begin, he can prevent Romero from turning the fight into the type of contest the champion prefers. Romero has a different objective. He continues trying to reduce the space between them and make Lopez uncomfortable. Every step forward carries a purpose. The closer he gets, the more pressure he can place on Lopez, and the more difficult it becomes for the challenger to fight entirely at his preferred distance. The crowd responds whenever Romero begins letting his hands go, adding another layer of intensity to an already emotional matchup. But Lopez remains focused on the task in front of him. At this stage, neither man has established complete control. That's what makes the fight so intriguing. One fighter is trying to force the action while the other is trying to determine exactly when that action happens. The tactical battle is no longer hidden. It is right there in front of everyone. The third round brings another increase in intensity as both fighters become more comfortable with what they are seeing. Romero continues attempting to bring Lopez into a closer range fight. The champion understands that allowing Lopez too much freedom could make the fight increasingly difficult to control. Pressure therefore remains central to Romero's approach. Lopez has to solve a different problem. He needs to find ways to score while avoiding unnecessary exchanges. Against a fighter like Romero, simply standing in the pocket and trading without a clear reason could create unnecessary danger. The difference in approaches makes every exchange meaningful. Romero is looking for moments where he can impose himself physically. Lopez is searching for opportunities created by Romero's forward movement. Neither fighter can afford to switch off. As the round progresses, the fight begins to feel less like a preliminary chess match and more like a genuine championship battle. The fighters are no longer simply measuring distance. They are beginning to commit to their strategies. And that is when fights like this can become unpredictable to be why the fourth round. Both corners have had enough time to identify what is working and what needs to change. The fighters are no longer dealing with an unknown opponent. They have seen the movement, felt the pressure, and begun understanding the rhythm of the other man. Romero continues looking for ways to make his power and physical pressure matter. He doesn't want Lopez to become comfortable. Every time he advances, he is attempting to make the challenger think about what could come next. Lopez responds by trying to dictate the terms of engagement. His challenge is finding the right balance between offense and defense. He cannot spend the entire fight moving away from Romero, but he also cannot afford to become careless while trying to prove a point. The crowd senses that the fight is beginning to open up. There is a different energy around the ring now. The fighters are committing more, taking more chances, and beginning to test the limits of one another. But this is still only the fourth round. There is a long way to go, and the championship rounds are waiting. The fifth round arrives with both fighters fully immersed in the championship battle. The early feeling out process is gone. Now each man has a much clearer idea of what he wants to accomplish. Romero's pressure remains an important part of the contest. The champion needs to make Lopez work and prevent him from becoming too comfortable with the pace. His presence alone can change the rhythm of an exchange because Lopez has to remain aware of the danger whenever Romero closes the distance. Lopez, however, continues trying to stay composed. He knows that reacting emotionally could play directly into Romero's hands. Instead, he needs to recognize openings, choose his moments, and avoid giving the champion unnecessary opportunities. That makes the fifth round particularly interesting from a strategic perspective. It isn't simply about who throws more. It is about who is making the other fighter respond. Romero was trying to force Lopez into his kind of fight. Lopez is trying to make Romero pay for coming forward. And with the fight approaching its halfway point, one thing is becoming increasingly obvious. Neither fighter is willing to surrender control. The next few rounds could change everything. The sixth round marks the halfway point, and this is where the fight begins entering a completely different phase. The opening rounds were about reading tendencies and establishing rhythm. Now there is enough information for both corners to start making meaningful adjustments. Romero has seen how Lopez reacts under pressure, while Lopez has had several rounds to understand when Romero wants to close the distance and when he is looking for an opportunity to attack. For Romero, patience becomes just as important as aggression. The champion knows he doesn't need to force every exchange. What he needs is the right opportunity to make his pressure count. His objective remains clear: keep Lopez thinking about the threat in front of him and prevent him from settling into a comfortable rhythm. Lopez has his own problem to solve. He needs to find openings without becoming reckless. Every time Romero advances, Lopez has a chance to counter, but that opportunity comes with risk. One mistimed exchange could allow Romero to turn the entire sequence around. That makes the sixth round a battle of decisions as much as punches. Who is seeing the openings first? Who is forcing the other man to react? And who is beginning to show signs of fatigue? At the halfway mark, there is still no room for either fighter to assume the championship is secure. 6 rounds remain, and in a fight this competitive, there can be more than enough time for everything to change.